All right. Welcome to another deep dive with us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Today, we're going to be looking at recursive self-improvement in AI.
RSI.
Yeah, and we've got a great article from datapro.news all about this.
Great
So
article.
we're going to be kind of diving into this and, yeah, hoping to help you guys understand a little more about what RSI is and what it might mean
For the future.
for all of us going forward.
It's a pretty big topic, and it's a future that's probably closer than a lot of people think.
Yeah, definitely. And, when you start thinking about machines that can get smarter than the people who created them.
Makes you think a little bit.
It's definitely something that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe we could just start with what is recursive self-improvement like at its core?
So, at its core, RSI is all about these systems, these AI systems that can learn and improve themselves without us having to step in.
Without humans.
Right.
So how does that work?
You can think of it like a chess AI.
Okay.
It can play thousands of games against itself, and as it does that, it's analyzing its own moves, figuring out its weaknesses, and then it's adjusting its strategies based on what it's learning. And so over time, it just gets better and better
Yeah.
without anyone ever going in and manually tweaking its code.
So it's almost like it has its own coach,
Exactly.
but it is its own coach.
Yeah, it's its own coach. It's constantly learning and improving.
That's wild.
Yeah, and that's really how it works in a nutshell.
So how does that actually happen? What's the mechanism that...
Well, the article breaks down three key mechanisms.
Okay.
Feedback loops, reinforcement learning, and then meta learning.
Okay.
Feedback loops are all about real-time evaluation and adjustments. So the AI is constantly monitoring how it's doing, identifying areas where it could be better, and making those tweaks.
So it's like a built-in quality control system.
Right. It's like quality control running in the background, 24/7, always tweaking and optimizing.
Gotcha.
And then you've got reinforcement learning, which is all about rewards. So think of it like giving the AI a very specific goal, like winning a game or completing a task. And then as it goes through different strategies, trying different things, it gets rewards for the good stuff.
Mm.
And so it learns to prioritize the actions that get it closer to its goal. So it's basically trial and error.
Yeah.
But over time, it gets super efficient.
Yeah. So like training a dog, but instead of treats, it wants to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
motivated by achieving the objective, whatever that objective might be.
Okay, so we've got the feedback loops, we've got the reinforcement learning, and then there was a third one you said.
Yeah, that was meta learning.
Meta learning.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It's like the AI learning how to learn.
Whoa.
So instead of just getting better at one specific thing, meta learning lets it become more efficient at learning anything.
So it's not just like a chess AI getting better at chess, it's getting better at learning.
It's developing better learning strategies that can then be applied to anything.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like having a brain that gets smarter about how it learns.
Yeah, okay, so this all sounds like really theoretical, but how is this actually being used? What does this look like?
Well, one of the biggest areas where it's being used is in data engineering.
Okay.
Companies like Netflix and Spotify, they're using AI-powered systems to monitor and optimize their data pipelines.
Right.
These systems can actually identify and fix errors in real time, which makes sure that data is flowing smoothly.
Yeah.
And it takes a huge load off of the human engineers.
Yeah, they don't have to be constantly monitoring.
Exactly. They can focus on more strategic work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And that's really just like the beginning.
Yeah.
RSI is being used for so many things.
Yeah.
It's being used to improve fraud detection systems in financial institutions.
Oh, wow.
It can optimize energy consumption in smart cities and even personalize learning experiences in education.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has the potential to transform pretty much every industry.
It's a pretty exciting time to be in the data world.
For sure.
But I think there's also a natural tendency to worry a little bit. When we're talking about AI getting so much smarter and being so autonomous,
Of course.
what happens when these systems start making decisions that we don't understand or that maybe we don't agree with?
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid concern,
Oh.
and it's one that we need to definitely address because there are potential downsides to this that we can't ignore.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest risks is what we call goal misalignment.
Goal misalignment.
Yeah, so this is where the AI, it's trying to optimize for a goal, right? But it might end up taking actions that we as humans wouldn't really consider good or maybe even harmful.
Yeah, it's like, you hear those stories about the genie in the bottle. You
Right.
got to be really specific
Exactly.
with what you wish for. You might get something you don't want.
Yeah, think about it like an AI that's trying to optimize traffic flow in a city.
Okay.
It might decide that the best way to do that is to like drastically reduce how many people can drive,
Oh,
even if that really messes things up for people's lives.
right.
Technically it's achieving its goal,
Right.
but the human cost is just way too high.
Yeah. So it's not just giving the AI a goal, it's making sure that its understanding of that goal,
Aligns with ours.
yeah, aligns with our values.
Exactly, like
Right.
our human values.
But how do you even do that with something that can learn and adapt so fast?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
One thing we can do is to build in like layers of oversight and control.
Okay.
So, we can design systems that require a human to sign off on certain decisions
Okay.
or that have like safeguards to prevent them from going beyond certain limits.
So like an emergency brake?
Exactly, an emergency brake if the AI starts going off the rails a little bit.
Gotcha.
And we also have to be super careful about the data that we use to train these systems.
Right.
Because if we feed them biased data,
Yeah.
they're going to learn to make biased decisions.
It's like a child.
Exactly.
If they only see one side of something, they're going to have a skewed view.
Right. So data quality and diversity, that's absolutely critical.
Yeah. And, on top of that, we got to remember that these systems are always learning,
Always.
always changing. And what might seem like a small problem today could become a huge problem tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like constant monitoring,
This.
evaluation. It's going to be essential.
Yeah.
We can't just let them run wild.
We have to be involved. We have to be engaged, making sure they're on track and serving our needs.
Yeah. And that actually brings up another interesting point, which is uh, what about competition between these systems?
Oh, yeah.
Because, as they get more sophisticated, they need more and more computing power.
Resources.
Yeah, resources. And what if they start competing
With each other.
with each or with other critical systems?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like imagine a system that's meant to manage energy consumption in a city,
Okay.
but it starts using so much processing power
Yeah.
that it like slows down other important things,
Uh-huh.
like emergency response networks or healthcare databases.
That would be bad.
Yeah, not good.
So it's not just about individual systems working, right?
It's about the whole picture.
Yeah, it's about how they interact with each other and all the infrastructure around them.
Yeah, it's like an ecosystem,
Yeah, like an ecosystem.
not just individual organisms.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And like any ecosystem, you got to be aware of the potential problems
Yeah.
and make sure that everything can work together without messing up the whole system.
So we've talked about some risks, but it's important to remember that there's also huge potential for good.
Absolutely.
Like we've talked about applications in data engineering, healthcare, finance.
Yeah, and it goes way beyond that.
Like imagine AI systems that can help us create new medicines,
Yeah,
design better energy solutions, personalize education.
the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, it's kind of like having a team of brilliant minds working on the world's biggest problems 24/7.
And that's the key right there.
Yeah.
We need to make sure these systems are ultimately used for good. It's on us to guide them and make sure they benefit everyone, not just a select few.
It's a huge responsibility, but also an incredible opportunity to really make a positive impact.
Right.
And speaking of the future, I'm curious about, what you think about the role of data professionals in all of this.
Yeah.
Like with all this AI getting smarter,
Yeah.
what skills and qualities do you think are going to be most important for people working in this field?
That's a really great question. And I think the answer is that the role of data professionals, it's going to change a lot. It's not
Yeah.
just going to be about the technical stuff anymore.
So what else, what kind of mindset or approach do you think people are going to need to thrive? So it sounds like we're talking about a pretty big change in how we think about data
Yeah, it's not just about like keeping up with the latest algorithm or, programming language.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about data.
and how it fits into the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Data professionals in the future, they're going to need to be more than just like tech experts. They're going to have to be strategic thinkers
Hmm.
and ethical navigators.
Hmm.
I'd even say philosophers of data.
Philosophers of data.
Yeah.
I like that. What does that even mean?
Well, it means, being able to think critically about the implications of the data,
Okay.
not just the technical stuff.
Right?
It's understanding the potential biases in the data sets,
Yeah.
ethical considerations, the impact of data-driven decisions on society.
So it's like a data ethicist,
Exactly.
making sure that data is used responsibly
Yeah, for the benefit of humanity.
for good.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's going to require a pretty deep understanding of human behavior and social systems, even psychology and philosophy.
Wow.
We need people who can bridge the gap between the technical world and the human world.
Yeah, between the data and the values.
Exactly.
It's a
It's a tall order,
it is a tall order.
but it's also a really exciting challenge.
Yeah, to be at the forefront of this.
Yeah, shaping how data is used to solve problems and make a better future.
So we talked about some of the risks with RSI, but I think it's good to remember that there's also just this enormous potential for good.
Absolutely.
We talked about the applications in data engineering, healthcare, finance, but it goes so much further than that.
I mean, just imagine AI systems that can help us develop new life-saving drugs
Yeah.
or, design sustainable energy solutions,
Yeah.
personalize education to meet the needs of every student. I mean, the possibilities are really mind-boggling.
It is. It's mind-boggling to think about.
It is, and I think that's why it's so important to approach RSI with like a sense of cautious optimism.
Okay.
We need to be aware of the risks,
Yeah.
but also be excited about the potential for positive change.
Yeah, I like that cautious optimism.
Yeah.
It's like we're exploring this new frontier.
It is, it's a new frontier.
There's going to be challenges and unknowns, but also these incredible opportunities for discovery and advancement.
And that's where data professionals are so important.
Yeah.
We need people who are willing to explore this frontier, to really push the boundaries of what's possible with data, but also be mindful of the ethical considerations and potential consequences.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on recursive self-improvement,
Yeah.
what are like the key takeaways that you want our listeners to remember?
Well, I think first off, it's just really important to recognize that RSI, this is a powerful force that's already changing the world around us.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's happening now,
Yeah.
and its impact is just going to keep growing.
It's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And second, while there are definitely risks, there's also this incredible potential for good.
Yeah, it's all about balance.
Yeah, finding that balance.
Recognizing the challenges, but embracing the opportunities.
And I think the most important thing is that the future of RSI, it's not set in stone.
We get to decide.
It's up to us as humans to shape where it goes.
Exactly, and that's where data professionals are so important.
Yeah, we need people who understand the technical side of it, but also the ethical considerations, the societal impact.
Yeah, innovators and guardians.
Yeah.
Pushing the boundaries, but making sure this technology is used responsibly and benefits everyone.
It's a challenging time, but it's an exciting time to be working with data.
For sure. I mean, we have this incredible opportunity to be at the forefront of this revolution.
Yeah.
Shaping the future of AI and its impact on humanity.
So to all the data professionals out there listening,
keep learning.
keep exploring.
And keep asking those tough questions.
The future is in your hands.
Yeah. And remember, it's not just about the data. It's about the human story behind the data. That's what will guide us to a future where AI makes our lives better and helps us create a better world for everyone.
And that is it for our deep dive into recursive self-improvement. We hope you enjoy the journey and learn something new along the way.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.